Wadden TV presents the significance of today in our history.
This day in history, 3rd Ocober, 52 BC Vercingetorix, leader of the Gauls, surrenders to the Romans under Julius Caesar, ending the siege and battle of Alesia.
Caesar committed every man he had left of his reserves, pulling every man who could be spared and sending them into the action. It was a desperate battle for the Romans. Between the two walls there would be no escape, and if the line faltered, the entire army would surely be wiped out. The Roman line was holding the Gallic army, but it seemed like it wouldn't last for long. But then, Caesar appeared at the top of the hill. Leading the Germanic auxiliaries, he crashed into the rear of the Gallic reinforcements. Surrounded now on all sides, the Gauls who had pushed through the breach were decimated and the tide of battle changed. Seeing their largest contingent broken, the morale of the rest of the Gallic reinforcements shattered and they quickly fled. With this threat thus neutralized, the Romans turned to deal with Vercingetorix, who was attacking the interior wall, and they were able to force him back into the city. With the city still besieged and his reinforcements spent, Vercingetorix surrendered. It is unknown how many Romans died, but the casualties must have been fairly significant given the intensity of the fighting, particularly at the point where the fortifications had been breached. The Gallic relief force suffered heavy casualties. The entirety of the besieged army in Alesia was either killed or enslaved, and both Vercassivellaunus and Vercingetorix were taken alive. Although most of the rebel leaders were either dead or captured, the resistance against Rome was far from over.
Year 1863, U.S. President Abraham Lincoln designates last Thursday in November as Thanksgiving Day.
In 1789, George Washington set aside November 26th of that year as a day of thanksgiving and prayer for creating the new federal government. However, in 1863, Abraham Lincoln took the step that would make Thanksgiving a permanent federal holiday. Everyone has heard of the Emancipation Proclamation, but less have heard of the Thanksgiving Proclamation, and that is what I want to read here today. Washington, D.C., October 3, 1863. By the President of the United States of America, a proclamation. The year that is drawing towards its close has been filled with the blessings of fruitful fields and healthful skies. To these bounties, which are so constantly enjoyed that we are prone to forget the source from which they come, others have been added, which are of so extraordinary a nature they cannot fail to penetrate and soften even the heart which is habitually insensible to the ever-watchful providence of Almighty God. In the midst of a civil war of unequaled magnitude and severity which has sometimes seemed to foreign states to invite and to provoke their aggression, peace has been preserved with all nations. Order has been maintained. The laws have been respected and obeyed, and harmony has prevailed everywhere except in theater of military conflict.
In the year 1873, Treaty 3 was signed by the Saulteaux of northwestern Ontario and of Manitoba. For the surrender of a tract comprising about 55,000 square miles, the Dominion government reserved not more than 1 square mile for each family of 5 and agreed to pay $12 per head and an annuity of $5 per head.
Government agents began negotiating treaties with the First Nations.
Treaty 3 is one of the key nation-building treaties within Canada. It was fundamental to Canada's western expansion. There was no way through to the Red River and building the Railway West without first coming through Treaty 3. And it is one of the most unique treaties of all of the historic treaties because it is the only one that has an adhesion by a Métis collective.
Year 1920, American Pro Football Association, later the NFL, plays first full round of games. Dayton Triangles beat Columbus Panhandles, 14-0 in first official game at Triangle Park, Dayton.
On October 3rd of 1920, it's about 100 years ago, the Dayton Triangles took on the Columbus Panhandlers.
In the year 1992, Geet Sadie wins the World Professional Billiards Championship.
Sethi from India is one of his country's most recognised sportsmen, being awarded a PS for services to Q Sport. Currently the world number 2, having already won 3 World Professional Championships with a highest break of 1,276.
You've won the title and elected your favourite discipline in billiards. It's got to be a good start for you.
I hope so. I mean, I'm banking on the fact that Jimmy's not played too much billiards in his career, so yeah. let's see how it goes.
Have you enjoyed the format?
It's beautiful. I mean, you know, all the disciplines getting together and seeing some of the top pool players, seeing the top snooker players. Good fun, yeah.
Great, all the very best to you.
Thank you very much.
In the year 1990, this day is celebrated as German Unity Day. German Unity Day is a national holiday commemorating the German reunification in 1990. German Unity Day is celebrated as a national event to remember how the Federal Republic of Germany and the Democratic Republic of Germany united to create one single, Federal Germany on October 3, 1990.
On October 3, 1990, the GDR joined the Federal Republic of Germany, reuniting the divided country. Since then, October 3 is a national holiday in Germany. After the cheers and jubilation at the opening of the wall, it was obvious to introduce the 9th of November as a new national holiday for all of Germany. Like no other day does the 9th of November bear the dark and bright sides of German history.